if you notice in the markers, they're very careful so you can see who is buried here. It's James M. Walker. So if you were looking for Morgan Walker, you'd never guess this was it. Okay, this is a picture of Morgan Walker, handsome guy. Okay, this is one of the strangest episodes. Those of you who are familiar, I have never figured it out exactly what Quantrill did, why he came here, what he was hoping to do, because it turns out really stupid, because almost everybody wanted to lynch him when he came. It was only Andy Walker, the son, who kept him from being lynched. He was taken up to the Independence Jail, and if everything had happened according to what most people wanted, we would never have heard of a Quantrill. Now just imagine if he had been lynched, what our history would be different. This is the big question, is where was Morgan Walker's home? The average historian or buff thinks that it's down here in the hollow because the directions say it was half a mile south of Pink Hill Road. You just merely took your odometer and started at Pink Hill Road down here and headed south until you hit this road. It is exactly 1/2 mile. Henrietta said, and it's absolutely, there's no way it could be otherwise, farmers built their homes on the top spot on their farm. Morgan Walker's home was right over here across the street where this house is, maybe a little bit to the south. But that's where his home was. And this is when Quantrill, with his people he brought with him, that I still don't understand that, why he felt like he had to kill these people, probably to gain credibility, but he didn't do that. They were just his abolitionist followers who came. They came over here with the intention of getting Quantrill slaves and setting them free. That's what they were told. Now Quantrill himself wrote letters home to his mother in Dover, Missouri, Dover, Ohio, and he was very pro-Northern in them. He thought anybody that was on the southern side was just plain evil or stupid. Then all of a sudden, he's writing the other way. What caused him to change his mind? Connolly, who doesn't like Quantrill at all, said he was about to be arrested as a horse thief. Others have said that he started mixing in with some of the pro-Southern people over south of Lawrence, and that caused him to change. We haven't the slightest idea. Some people here I know what the answer is, and you disagree among yourself. But the picture you have there, skidding around, the actual fighting that took place here was right in front of the house. And if you look at the picture, there's a little thing on the porch on the north end and on the south end, and Andy had got all the people ready to fight these evil Kansans, these abolitionists, and one of them was in that little room on the porch on this end, and that's where Mrs. Walker kept her loom. It faced east. We would be looking at the north end. Now, to the actual cemetery. You'll notice that the two markers here are very modern. And somebody came and stole the Morgan Walker monument. It was my wife and I. And the reason why is at that very time, the kids who lived over in this area here loved to come over here and smoke pot because it was totally enclosed. You couldn't see through it at all.
Good stuff.
So, wanting something to do besides smoking pot, they decided to smash up the tombstones. And so we managed to save Morgan Walker's tombstone. It had already been hit by a sledgehammer a couple of times. The top had been broken into pieces, and all the tombstones around it were smashed into pieces laying on the ground.
And some people did take some of those. So
Yeah, apparently somebody has those. Here is the picture of Morgan Walker's tombstone in the cemetery, and if you look closely, you can see the broken tombstones at the bottom.
Question that came up, somebody asked me today, how long did the family hold on to this land, do you know?
Well, Morgan died the year after the Civil War.
Okay.
And his wife died 10 years later, and she's buried here. In fact, the tombstone that we saved that you'll see in the Nature Center has Morgan on one side, her on the other side, and then the Masonic symbol on. If you think you know what Quantrill looked like, there are all kinds of pictures around. This is the one that Ben Morrow had, who rode with Quantrill. This is the one he saved, and I'm just throwing it in so you can see one of the many versions of Quantrill. It shows the cemetery with his tombstone sticking up, so you can see what the cemetery looked like at the point that we came in when they were busting up the tombstone.